So as you transition from conservatories and that type of training into the legal field, what were those first few jobs like fresh out of law school, both in terms
Yeah.
of how you operated in those jobs, because that's going to be a big part of what we talk about in part two, but also
Uh-huh.
how did you choose the jobs that were right for you fresh out?
Yeah. So I went to a top 10 law school, and part of that training is you go to a big law firm, usually, right? So I went to a big law firm right after law school. And that job was, I wouldn't say selected for me, but all of the firms are kind of the same, right? So I ultimately chose the law firm I went to because they were like a top entertainment. And at the time, my focus and passion was being an entertainment lawyer. So I moved to LA and took that gig. I don't know, maybe 2 years in, I decided that it wasn't really for me. Things like billable hours and people sort of counting your minutes and telling you like how much time you've got to bill. I don't love
Right.
that. And so I thought, okay, but I probably got to stick this out for 3 or 4 years because in the legal profession, going to a law firm is sort of a rite of passage. It's a form of hazing, and people assume certain things about your ability if you can cut it at a big law firm, right? So I sort of made myself stay for longer than I wanted to. And that was fine. I've always had this ability to delay gratification, understanding that this step may be a means to an end. It doesn't necessarily need to be the end itself. And so that was fine. And then the next thing I did was I quit and decided I was going to start my own entertainment law firm and consulting agency. I thought I can do what these partners are doing at this firm, but I can also be doing it for brown and black people, for artists, for people who didn't have the resources to pay big law firm fees. And so I did that. And that was a really fun experience. And I did that for about 3 years. Then a big startup came, and I was actually negotiating a license agreement for my client at my own firm with this company, right? This company wanted to license something that a client of mine had created. And so anyway, we go through that process and the deal gets closed. And maybe about 2 weeks later, they reached out to me saying, hey, we're really building out this business. We like the way you manage this negotiation and so on and so forth. Would you be interested in coming and heading up business and legal affairs? And that was a tough decision because I was like, I'm giving up this freedom that I really like. But also, it was clear to me again that while I was able to do this, I was still super young in my legal career. And I was thinking about what is the narrative of my career going to be? And as technology and apps and e-commerce started to really take off, I thought this may be a good space for me to be like a subject matter expert in. And so and then I moved overseas to be the general counsel for the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi for a while. I worked at a big online travel company that most of us have probably used. And today I'm at the GC of a tech and content company in the US.
I have to say, so that you don't have
Mhm.
to say it, is I said that there was a reason at the beginning of this episode that I would choose you to tell people how to navigate their career. I would just ask the audience to just trust my expertise that you work with a lot of successful people. You need to be listening to what this person is saying because I wouldn't expect you to say all of the places where you've worked. But just audience, trust me, it's an impressive list.